All right, positive energy all the time. It's up. It's up, it's up, it's up, it's up, it's up. It's all the way up. Good to see everyone. Rep Your City. Everybody on Facebook. I'm representing Chicago. Everybody on Kick. I'm representing Chi-Town. Everybody on Twitch. I'm representing the Windy City. And everybody on YouTube. I am representing Chicago. Shout out to everybody on both Facebook accounts. Okay, let's get it going. Got to get my energy together. I'm working on this Rastafari House of Thugs organization. So I'm kind of a little bit thugged out. Let me get back into a more well, I guess I don't really need to be jovial, especially with this conversation. This conversation is crazy. We got Houston in the house. Represent your city. What's your city? We got Dallas in the house. I see you, daughter. What's your city? You in Tennessee? What's your city, though, sweetheart? We have Bristol in the building. Rep your city. Rep your city. We have Atlanta in the house. We have Buffalo in the house. We have Fresno in the house. What other cities do we have here? This is a conversation I've been talking about for before social media, when I was talking on the streets. We have Houston in the house. We have Pittsburgh in the building. I've been talking about this since 19 probably 82. Yeah, I've been talking about this since 1982. What is that? 82, 92, 2002, 2012, 2022, 23, 24, 25. So I've been talking about this for about 43 years. When there wasn't no social media, when I used to be outside uh, teaching on buses and trains and at parks and at festivals. Back in the day, we'd be on the buses, we'd be on the trains, we'd be at the festivals, right? Getting it going. You know what I'm saying? So I know sometime when I'm over here talking, I know you think, well, dang, bro, why you be a little rough around the edges? Well, I've got to adjust to teaching online. I've taught outside and in the trenches. So, teaching outside in the trenches, it takes a certain type of swag. It's not really easy. You have a mixed audience of working people, um, high school people, college people, um, gang members, revolutionary, different people on the buses from different organizations. They might be Hebrew Israelites. They might be from the Nation of Islam. Christians is on there. Preachers are on the bus uh, trying to challenge my concepts. So, and then with dreadlocks, nobody knew what dreadlocks was. So you had comedians on the bus that want to try to disrespect you. So you used to have to do a little straightening. Plus, it was like When I started teaching in the early 80s, it was like a mixture of uh, a Dick Gregory, How to Eat, Dr. Yosef Ben Hannon, History on Ancient History of Us, um, like the type of knowledge you're learning now with reparations about slavery and what foundational Black Americans go through. Uh, Criticism of certain things blacks were doing, sisters with the makeup on their face, lightening their skin, brothers with the jerry curl. So it was kind of contentious. It was kind of like a cosmic, knowledgeable, revolutionary gangster, kind of like. Because there would be gangsters, gang members and stuff on there. And I was I wouldn't say I wasn't a gang member, but I was a hustler as a kid. So I was in the streets. I just wasn't with the gangs because I was a baby boomer. So there wasn't enough gangs to recruit us. We outnumbered the gangs. And back then it was what your hands could do. So it didn't matter if you was a lynchman or Blackstone. Can you fight though? So it didn't matter what you was if you couldn't whoop me. And all that mixed together on the buses and trains teaching. It's kind of like, I'm coming from tailor-made suits and perms and jerry curls and shooting dice to dreadlocks and army fatigues, and I'm not really playing. When I got on the tailor-made suits, I'm not playing. When I'm shooting dice, and you know what I'm saying. I'm not really to be playing with. I'm in the streets early, fifth grade, sixth grade. So, so you take that person and then you revolutionize them. I'm still on that though. I'm still looking at you like, don't talk crazy to me now because I got dreads and like this. Because if I had on my tailor-made suit and my dice in my hand, you wouldn't be talking crazy. Don't talk crazy to a Kenaton. You wouldn't talk crazy to Stu Gambler. I bet you wouldn't talk crazy to Stu. I'm looking at you like, oh, you try to talk crazy because I got your dreads. But when Stu Gambling, if I was Stu Gambling, no, I bet you wouldn't be talking crazy on the guys. So the teaching was rough, but I was talking about these type of things early. I started learning about this cashless society when I worked at the U.S. Treasury Department. So we're gonna get into it. They did not arrest Bud. They didn't arrest Bud. They pulled Bud over. They put guns on him. They got him out the car, and then they let him go about his way. He was with 3 men, so he didn't get arrested. They pulled guns on him. People are saying they had a gun on them, but they looked on the floor. They seen a gun. There's 4 black men in the car at night. If I'm the police, I'm up in the banger too. So I think people jump at conclusions. I think the police had every right to up their bangers. The police did a good job, if you ask me. They didn't shoot. But you police, you walk up in the car at 4 in the morning with 4 dudes in the car. You see a gun on the floor. What you gonna do? I'm finna up. Okay, free. Don't move. Don't move until I identify you. Some people saying they knew who he was. I don't believe they knew who he was. It's 4 dudes in the car at 1 in the morning. We pull up, boom, we go to knock on the thing. While you drive, like we look, we see a gun. Okay. Don't move, don't move. As soon as I see a gun, it's don't move. Don't move. Step out the car. Put your hands up. Don't like flinch because it's for y'all. You know what it's like when you see a gun on the floor and there's 4 dudes and it's you and like any one of them, it's come on, man. So I think I think people that ain't outside shouldn't be talking about that. They don't know what they talking about. They don't know what they talking about. Police didn't do nothing wrong. They pulled them over. Boom. Seen a gun. They upped on them. Bud did the right thing. I'm not reaching. I'm not reaching. Got out the car. They worked it all out. This is my security. I'm not. Okay, go on about your way. Everybody hyping it up. I think that's whack. They whack. They just hyping up something. They don't know what they talking about. If you're a black man and you don't think the police was did right, then you become a police officer and get your ass out there and let's see you do it better. Because I'll tell you something, if you're a black police officer, you pull over the wrong car and you don't be careful, I bet you they leave you out there leaking. I bet you that on the guys. So, but no, he didn't get arrested. Let's not spread false information. Okay? False information, good energy. That's false. Let me take that down. That is false information. He was not arrested. You feel me? So we're going to get into it. I hope y'all are doing great. So they're going to want you to have digital ID if you're going to work in the UK. Yeah, you don't have digital ID, you can't work. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have digital ID. Now, I see a lot of people in the United States complaining, but they made us go get them IDs too. I don't have mine yet, but they got that other ID for us to get too. I don't know what people think. That's, they're going to make us get digital ID too. So I see people complaining because they're saying they're making you get digital ID. Well, my thing is, why you ain't complaining that you got to pay digital? You know what I'm saying? Digital just means a credit card, a debit card. That's digital. That's digital. So a digital ID is going to be, they can scan it. They can scan it. Now, I don't know how they're going to apply it. I don't know if it's going to be a microchip or if it's just going to be a card, but it's going to just have more ability. Digital ID, Michael, is an ID that's got the ability to be used digitally. Your license you got now, you can't use it digitally. So the police got to go take my license, get in the car. They got to put everything in, right? Then they tell them, and with digital ID, the police could just scan my ID and everything gonna pop up. They don't got to go put it in the computer in the police car. With my license right now, they got to go put the numbers in the. They got to put the numbers in the police car, and then they come up with the digital ID. They just be able to scan it. They won't have to manually enter your information. Yeah, they have a chip on it. So they won't have to manually enter your information. They know who you are with just a scan. And they don't want you to be able to work if you ain't got that, which will make it so that if you is an immigrant, you're a legal immigrant, you ain't going to be able to work because they ain't going to let you get no digital ID. So it's a form of immigration control, which is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? That's what we had. We had it to the Bible. We headed to the book of Revelation. You know what I'm saying? That's what we had. You know what I'm saying? It's just facts. what I'm saying? That's where we headed. So it's just crazy. You know, I used to watch people like deny the Bible about when it was wrote and all that. I'm asking them, well, why don't you deny the facts that it said? If you can't deny the facts, you know what I'm saying? Then what we doing? You know what I'm saying? You say the Bible fake, cool. First off, it ain't no such thing as the Bible. The book of Revelation is the book of Revelation. The book of Genesis is the book of Genesis. The Bible is a collection of books. So when you say the Bible fake, you're saying all the books is fake. So you don't know what you're talking about. You understand? You ain't got no knowledge, so you shouldn't be teaching. Because it say right here, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. Like that. So all you lames out there, you know what I'm saying, talking about the Bible ain't this and that, man, stay in a little boy or a little girl place. You don't got no knowledge. You know, you don't have knowledge. Don't be out here teaching. You don't have no knowledge. Where everything is microchipped and everything is going cashless, and you still don't want to recognize that Revelation was right. Like, how slow you got to be, like, say, okay, John was right. You know, John was out on the island when he wrote that. All the other disciples, they had unalived all the rest of them. He was the last one alive. And, you know, John was the one that Christ said, take care of my mother before they unalive Christ. Did y'all know that? Anyway, you're going to have to go follow me on to get into that type of information, because I'm having a special YouTube account for that. So I don't have no lames over there, right? So I'm getting another YouTube account just for people that's interested in that don't want to argue. The ones that like to argue, y'all stay over here. Don't come over there. You know what I'm saying? So go over to the new account. You know what I'm saying? And check out the new account. It's going to be heavy. Okay? It's going to be heavy. From Chicago to Kemet. Go over there and subscribe. That's kicking off the first of the year. You know what I'm saying? That's kicking off the first of the year. Go check that out. So all that type of stuff will be over there. I'm changing up uh my whole YouTube strategy, and I'm moving certain information just for that audience. I'm tired of having information over here that certain people don't appreciate. And so I'm making it so is if you appreciate this, you go over here. If you appreciate that, you go over here, like that. And this would just be general conversation on what's going on out here. But if you want to eat right, you got to go subscribe to Vegan Intel. If you don't, who cares? If you want to get into that whole cosmic stuff, Kemet, ancient Israel, ancient Ethiopia, Samaria, Atlantis, Mu, Bimini, Yucatan, space, then you got to go over to from Kemet to Chicago, which is really what's popping, right? If you want to know, what's going on with that, so you gotta go over there for that. That way we can keep everything, we can let people enjoy what they enjoy without the haters. You know what I'm saying? The haters, they make experience bad for other people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you could go over there. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe over that, over there. You know what I mean? Keep everything, so that when you come over there, you can't blame nobody for the conversation. You agreed to hear that type of conversation. So that's gonna be heavy. Yeah, just hit right there. They in the chat. Just hit them in the chat and go on over there. But let me see. Yeah, I'll post the link. Hold on. Right. From Kemet to Chicago, you know what I'm saying? That kicks off at the next year. Here it go right here. So that kicks off next year. That's gonna be heavy. Yeah, that's gonna be heavy. That's gonna be like next level. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So now I could get all my work in, but I could put them in the proper place. There's some people just really interested in mysticism and scripture and ancient stuff, and there's some people not. And I want to make it easy so you could really see what you're most interested in. Because I have people come over here, I like it when you talk about this, so I'll make it easy for you. Then go over there. You know what I'm saying? Because this channel is for rounded, for really open-minded. This channel is not for targeted audience. This channel is the ultimate open mind channel where you gotta have your mind open. You can't be stuck. You gotta open your mind. And so over there in UK, they going forth with the Cashless Society, the mark of the beast, and this is going down. This Cashless Society and this mark of the beast, it's going down. It's not a joke. And we only got so many years before they're gonna force you to get that microchip. I mean, that microchip is right around the corner. And for many of us soldiers, many of us ancient kings and queens, That's going to be the line in the sand. Because I had somebody ask me, would I take the digital ID? If they force me to take the digital ID, fine. Because the digital ID is not egregious towards my maker because it's still on a card. You want to put it on a card, we. But if you want to put it on my body, the body that my daddy and mama made love and helped put together, and my mama birthed me, and the Most High gave me this body, and you think I'm going to let you? The Most High put this earth together and put everything on the earth, right? The male and female entity that we call the Most High is male and female. That's a whole nother video. You're going to have to go to from Kemet to Chicago. But the Most High gave us all the food on this planet, the trees, the water, the animals. Apples is free. Watermelons is free. All you need is seeds. So you telling me you want to take the watermelons, you want to grow them behind a fence, you want to make them seedless so I can't grow one. Then you want me to take a microchip in my hand to get something that's really not yours? Because the earth ain't yours. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So the idea these people think they own the earth and gonna make you mark your body, that's when you're gonna be them went too far. That's when you done went too far. Yeah, they got the palm scanner. I done seen it already. Yeah, I seen it. I was the first one to tell about that, wasn't I, y'all? How long ago, y'all, I showed the palm scanner? Man, I showed the palm scanner. Man, y'all, how long it was when I showed the palm scanner? I showed it the day I seen it. I showed that. I showed that today. I showed it before it was even working in Chicago. It wasn't even working yet. I've been on that. I've been showing y'all the whole time. But some people, they ain't been listening. When I went, I be going away writing, I'm finna go away writing again. I went away writing. And it was cars just driving around. I showed y'all before it even got popular. It was cars just driving around. I filmed it. Check it out. Look, on everything I love, let me tell this story. So, I didn't have no job because I started growing dreads and I was kind of tripping. So I lost my job at the exchange place. I worked for exchange place, for a stock exchange. But I had already took the civil service exam. So they called me. They sent me one to the airport. I denied it was too far. They sent me one for the U.S. Treasury Department downtown Chicago. My dreads was standing up, so I washed my dreads. and I relayed them back, and I did the hot oil treatment and melt the oil and rubbed it on my dreads, and had my girlfriend put 2 stocking caps on my head and tie a rag on my head. So when I got up the next morning, it looked like I had waves. You couldn't see they was dreads. I put it on my tailor mouth, took off my, say I can't wear my camouflage. I can't be no revolutionary for I think 30 days. 30 days I couldn't be no rebel. So I went and got my tailor-made suits out. Boom, went down, walked in the building, tailor-made suit, play it up. You know what I'm saying? And when I walked in there and I seen all them black women, and I seen that a black woman was the one interviewing me, I'm like, yeah, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? It's some sausage in the house, right? You know, they finna hire the sausage, right? So boom, I got the job. So to make a long story longer, I went every day with my hair mashed down and blah, 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 blah. And then eventually I shook my hair out, put back on my camouflage, came to work. You know, hey, I'm past the probation period. Y'all can't fire me. That's discrimination. So the black women I work with, they used to be listening to soap operas on their radio. We there all day. You know, I'm doing correspondence review, so I bought a radio. And I found this Bible channel called Bible in the News. This is deep. And Bible in the News was talking about the cashless society. And this is like 1980, right? They talking about the mark of the beast in the cashless society. So they was saying that they was going to get rid of cash, that they was going to slowly get people into the cash society. Now, this is 1980. They ain't doing none of this stuff they doing now. And then one part, they said, one of the main things they was going to do is they was going to start forcing the public to get direct deposit, meaning they going to want you to put your money in the bank and then just write checks, right? Now, this is what's deep. So if you sent me a letter and you work for the railroad or you work for the CIA or the FBI or Social Security or any government agency, my job was to read the letter, find out who you sending it to, put it in the box to where you sending it. If you sending it to the FBI, if you send it to the post office, whatever federal agent, I put it in there. Then my job was to send you a correspondence saying, we received your letter. Your letter have been forwarded to the CIA, or your letter have been forwarded to the FBI, or your letter have been forwarded to the Postal Service or whatever government, right? And when I would put the letter in there, I had to put a card in there. And you know what the card used to say? Consider direct deposit. There was no such thing as direct deposit. None. Right? So they saying that they're going to force everybody to get a card first. Right? And then after everybody get a card, then they was going to force you to get the microchip, right? So I'm saying, check this out, it's deep. So I'm saying, how they going to do that? How they going to force us to get a credit card? Because that was the only cards out. Y'all, this is deep. The only card that they had in the country was a credit card. So I said, well, they ain't going to be able to do this no time soon because we got bad credit. Debit card. The debit card was a move by Luciferians to take one more step to the cashless society, because the debit card is, you don't need credit. And it was crazy because they were saying once they got you to go cashless, they would take away debits. Now, there was no debit card, and this Christian program was saying they would take away your debits. So like if you late for work, they could take debits, like they could take some of your money back out or not, or eliminate it from your pay because it's all digital. So they would be able to digitally dock you. So like once they go totally cashless and you 5 minutes late from work, they gonna take that 5 minutes. If it's $1.25 or two, you're not gonna get that money. Look, y'all, they gonna dock you for everything. And they came out with the debit card. So I was hyped up, man. They finna get us with the mark of the beast. But by the time I moved to LA, I started realizing, okay, we straight, because they don't have the technology. So even though I knew this in the 80s, early 80s, I knew this, I calmed down because what? They did not have the technology to bring in the mark of the beast. So I wasn't tripping until like about 7, 8 years ago. They got the technology now. Oh, they got the technology now. It's up. And I tell this story all the time. So look, I know everything about the mark of the beast, right? And do y'all know I was in a cashless society and didn't even know it? My grandson, PJ, I want to take him to see 50 Cent. I said, 50 Cent. I go on my phone. Boom, I go to Ticketmaster. I say, okay, buy your ticket. I buy the tickets. It say, download the tickets in my phone. Now check this out. This the mark of the beast, but I don't know. And I know everything about it, right? I know everything about the cashless society, but I didn't download these tickets and I ain't peep game yet. Cool, I got my tickets. I should have been like, oh man, digital tickets, but it didn't click. Day of the show, I pick up my grandson. I got like $700 in my pocket. You know, I want to buy him a whole bunch of paraphernalia and stuff, buy me a whole bunch of 50 Cent stuff, you know. I pull up. Here's the stadium. I'm looking. I don't see nowhere to park because I don't see no parking attendants. I'm sitting right here. It's an opening right here. United Center right there. Cars start pulling in front of me, parking, jumping out. I say, oh, this must be parking. So y'all, I pulled in, parked. When I get out, a dude ran up with a thing and say, take your credit card and hit it. So he took my credit card. He put my license plates in there. And boom, I paid with my debit card. I still don't get it, right? I still don't know I'm in the mark of the beast. I go up to the door. They say, okay, show us your ticket. I go to my phone. I pull up digital tickets. They scan the tickets. I still don't know I'm in the mark of the beast cashless society. Everything been cashless. Ain't no real tickets. Ain't no real parking money. Ain't no ticket to get in. I don't wake up until I say, hey, PJ, let's get our shirts and stuff now because the good stuff going to be sold out. So me and PJ standing in line and I'm seeing everybody tapping these cards. So I asked the lady, I said, y'all take cash? She said, no, there ain't no cash in this whole building. So I couldn't buy nothing. So I got like $750 cash in my pocket. I can't buy nothing because I don't got no money and I don't keep no money in the bank because I don't like digital money. I don't want nobody to push no buttons and take my money. So when bills is due, I put it in the bank and then they get it. I only put what they need. If I owe you 100, I make sure the 100 in there. I don't put my money in no bank because it's digital. So I couldn't buy nothing. $700 in my pocket. I had to call my daughter, have my daughter Zelle me like $200. I couldn't even buy everything I wanted to buy because my daughter was in college. She ain't had no money like that, just a little bit. If I would have known, you know what I'm saying? She Zelled me $200. I had to use my debit card. Total mark of the beast. Nobody in there had no cash. And the young generation was just tapping. They got them already. They got them. They going for Lucifer. They got them. All that, I had to wait till I was getting ready to buy a shirt before I realized I was in the cashless society. There was no cash in the whole United Center where the Bulls play. No cash. I was like, dang, they got me. Then I started thinking, dang, my ticket wasn't real. My parking wasn't real. Wasn't nothing real. Everything was scanned. I was like, oh, man, they got me. It was real spooky. I'm like, damn. And the young generation got them already. That's why when young brothers come over here don't listen, it don't really bother me because they got you already. You born brainwashed. You lost from birth. You lost from birth because they bring you into a satanic type system and you born in it, so you think it's normal. You don't even know it's evil. You don't even know. They got you. They got you. I couldn't even buy all the shirts and stuff. Imagine having $750 and can't buy nothing. Because I wanted to buy, he had a collector's item album. I think for like $200, I would have bought it. I couldn't even buy it, man. Imagine having $750 cash in your pocket. I had thousands of dollars. I could have bought whatever with me. And I was flat broke. I was broke. And they didn't have no ATM in there nowhere where I could have went and put my money on my card. And I could, because I could have went and put the money on my bank card. I could have went and put the money on my bank card. I couldn't even do it. So this what they own, y'all. They own that. Y'all better wake up. Look, new digital ID will be mandatory to work in the UK. Digital ID will be mandatory in order to work in the UK as a part of plans to tackle illegal immigration. Sir Keir Starmer said the new digital ID scheme would make it tougher to work in the UK illegally and offer countless benefits to citizens. While his senior minister, Darren Jones, said it could be the bedrock of the modern state. However, opposition parties argue the proposal would not stop people crossing the channel in small boats. The prime minister set out his plan in a border speech to a gathering of world leaders in which he said it had been too easy for people to work illegally in the UK because the centre left had been squeamish about saying things that were clearly true. Now, here go the thing. The person said won't stop them from crossing, right? Here go the thing. They're going to starve if they cross because the groceries going to be cashless too, and they not going to have no digital nothing. They not going to have no digital credit card because you ain't going to be able to get nothing if you illegal. It's going to totally stop illegal immigration because everything going to be digital. And how you going to get a digital bank account when it's got to go through the government? And they going to want to see your birth certificate. They don't want to see your birth certificate. So if you snuck up here from Mexico, you're going to starve because you're not going to be able to get no digital ID because you don't have no ID and you're not a citizen and they not giving you nothing. You're going to have to be a citizen to buy anything. And if you ain't got your papers to prove you a citizen, you will not get no digital nothing. Ain't gonna be no black market. Ain't no money. How you gonna have a black market with no money? D-Fam? Ain't gonna be no black market. We what? There ain't gonna be nothing to trade. There will not be a black market. There will be no market. Facts. Once they go cashless society, it's a wrap. Where you gonna live at? You ain't gonna be able to live. Where you gonna live? Rent gonna be digital. Listen. Hold on, watch this. Hold on. Hold on, it don't get no realer than this. Let's take a break. Let me show y'all something. Y'all think I'm playing. Let me show y'all something. It don't get no realer than this, right? Let me show you something, right? Check it out. Give me a minute. Look, man, you can't pay no money for no rent no more. Just a couple of bootleg spots. Man, they ain't taking no rent is cashless. Rent is cashless. You want to get an apartment, you cannot get it with cash. Exhibit A. This is Prairie Shores. I used to live over there. All right. All right, hold on. Y'all don't understand what I'm trying to tell you, okay? If you want to get an apartment, you're going to have to go over here. You're going to have to log in, okay? You're going to have to log in. And you're going to have to pay everything digitally. You even going to have to look at the apartment digitally. And when you go down to the office for Prairie Shores and the other one, what was the other one I was living at? It's going to come to me. Man, listen, you got to go down to the office. When you pay your rent, it ain't no cash. It ain't no cash. Ain't no cash. Ain't no cash. Ain't no crime gonna go up because you're gonna be out on the street and they're gonna arrest you. Where you gonna hide? Where you gonna hide? Where you gonna hide? You say crime gonna go up. Where you gonna hide? Crime, you going to prison. You going to jail. You going to jail. It's not gonna be nowhere to hide. Where you gonna hide? You're gonna be on the street. They're gonna scrape you up off the street. You ain't gonna be able to rent because if they find out you rent to somebody and it ain't done digitally, you going to jail too and they're gonna take your property. Okay? I remember being in LA selling incense, right? And this black dude came to me and he said, "Hey, bro," he said, "can I get $2 from you?" I said, "Man, for what, man?" He said, "I need $2 so I don't get arrested." I said, "What you mean?" And he told me something like, "If the police pull me over out here and I only have $1.75, they can arrest me for loitering." I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "No. If you don't have no money," this was when I was in LA, "you going to jail." This when I was in LA. This was back in the 80s. A black man downtown LA told me if he don't got at least, I think, $1.75, I think he said, and the police search him, he have no money, he going to jail. I said, "Are you, Bro, are you serious? He say, I gave him like $5 so he can get something to eat and have $2 on him. He said, buy gold. Gold ain't no good. Don't listen to that. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing with gold. Don't listen to these people talking about buy gold. What you gonna do with gold? You gonna be able to go buy some beans and rice with gold? You just gonna have a gold bar that ain't gonna be worth nothing. What you gonna do with gold if there's no cash? Okay, you got a bar of gold. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? He said, buy gold. Okay, bro, come in here and tell me if you got a bar of gold, it's a cash society. Give me step by step how you gonna go to the store and get some food. I gotta hear this. Show me how you gonna get some food or pay your rent with the bar of gold. A cashless society means gold, silver, money, all that. It means only digital. No physical, nothing. You putting ideas out there, and I'm letting them know that idea don't make no sense. Gold ain't gonna do nothing. When you go, listen, gold is considered cash, like coins, right? Coins is metal and gold is metal, right? So when you go cashless, that means nothing physical. Everything only digital. The only thing will be recognized is digital currency. Gold would be worthless. Gold won't be worth 2 pennies. The only thing you'll be able to do with gold is take it to a gold exchange and have them put it on your digital account, and then you'll be able to spend it off of your digital account. You're going to still have to turn the gold digital. You're going to be in the same situation. You're going to have to add a mark of the beast. You're going to have to turn your gold and your silver to digital currency, or it's just a lump of metal. If you got $100,000 cash, it'll just be paper. If you got $100,000 gold and silver, it'll just be metal. The only thing a matter is them digital numbers that you see when you go to your bank account right now. That's it. There will not be any bank tellers. There'll only be ATMs. No bank tellers, no banks. Banks is to keep money, right? Have y'all been to the bank lately? Have y'all been to the bank? Y'all ain't noticed the bank done downsides? Look, there's a bank I go to. When you walk in the door, there's 2 ATMs. Then you make a left. Now it's only one. You make a left, and there's one on the inside. Then a lot of times they got 2 tellers. Now, if somebody's at the teller and I'm standing right here, while I'm waiting to be the next person, 3 or 4 people then walked in the door and went to the ATM and left, went to the ATM and left, went to the ATM and left. And I'm going to see the bank teller. The ATMs, there's Bank of Americas that have no bank, only ATMs. There's more ATMs everywhere than there is banks. There's more Bank of America ATMs than there are Bank of Americas. I do my banking at 12 at night, 3 in the morning, 9 in the evening. There's no bank. There's no bank where I do my money exchanges. There's no bank. It's just 2 ATMs. And you just take your card and you can go in the building 24 hours. No bank. Babylon cashless society. I'm already in the cashless society. Yes. I've been knowing about the mark of the beast all this time. That's why I say my beef is when they want me to take it on my hand. But they already got me in the Cashless society. I got a wallet full of cards, right? Keep it real. Ain't I in the Cashless society? How I pay Comcast? Cashless. How I pay my phone bill? Cashless. Tell me if I'm lying. How do I pay my internet? Cashless. How I pay my phone bill? Cashless. How I pay my car insurance? Cashless. How you pay your car note? Cashless. All your payments are cashless. How you pay your electric bill? Cashless. When I was young, 16, 17, and when I first got my apartment and your phone bill was due, you went to Illinois Bell office, stood in line, paid your phone bill. Your gas bill due, you went to People's Gas, paid it. No. There's no People's Gas to go pay nobody. There's no T-Mobile. There's nowhere to go pay. When you go to T-Mobile now, they don't take money in there. If you want to buy a new iPhone, they don't take money. They don't take money. Everything is cashless. If you got the card, you got the chip. But the sin is not having the chip. The sin is letting them put it on your body that God gave you. See, I got the chip, but that's not the sin. If you read the book of Revelation, it say to put the chip on your right hand or your forehead. Let's just keep this real. So when they go digital, but here go the thing. They say, well, why you complain about digital? Because when I go digital, right, they all in the beeswax. They go, listen, do y'all want the government to know every penny you spent? Do you understand that way before you take the microchip and they go totally cashless, do you know they will know every dime you spent, everywhere you went, everything you ate, everywhere you go? So let's say the government want to wipe you out and they know every Friday night you go to this restaurant. Don't you know they could poison your food? They know every so often you go to this Walgreens and buy this. Don't you know they can poison that product? Do you realize the dangers of them knowing every purchase you ever make? Think about that. They'd be like, Pharaoh was right here then, he was right there then, he was right here then, he was right there then. Africa will be under the mark of the beast. There will be nowhere to run. Africa will be under the mark of the beast. There will be nowhere to run. Africa will be under the mark of the beast. Africa is not no free, liberated, nothing. Africa is a slave of the European system. CBDC is already in Africa. You'll fight or you'll bow. There'll be no running. Ain't gonna be no running. All that ducking and dodging and running that people been doing, yeah, you either gonna stand up and you're gonna ride with righteousness or you're gonna bow to wickedness. Ain't gonna be no cash plane ticket nowhere. Africa ain't got no military to defend themselves. Going to Africa, you just butt naked. That little guy in Burkina, they could conquer him in 2 hours. But whatever. Africa ain't got no navy, no air force, or nothing, no continental nothing. And Arabs run the place. Black Africans don't run nothing. Them funny looking people in North Africa and Egypt run Africa. Yeah, well, faith ain't for revolutionaries. We don't function on faith. You know what I'm saying? If you got faith, go to church. Africa ain't nothing. Africa's where they stealing all of the stuff to do this stuff from. How that's a savior. Africa is the sucker continent where they stealing everything from. You just said buy gold. You mean the gold they stealing from Africa? So let me get this straight. You could steal all the gold from Africa, and then if I buy gold, I'm safe from the dudes that's getting robbed for they gold. That's gonna be my savior. The continent that's getting punked daily. Make it make sense. Like Africa is a punk. Africa's a punk. It's the biggest punk in the planet. Where they getting all this, where they getting everything to run their electronics from, y'all? Can they have a cashless society without robbing Africa? Where they getting the uranium from? Where they getting all the precious metal from for they satellites? Where they getting the rhodium from for their satellites? Where they getting the gold? Where they getting all the precious metals from to set up their Babylon system? Where's the place that they're going to build a Babylon system? Is Africa. Africa is actually building the Babylon system. You said it's about to change? All right, go over there. Good luck. All right, good luck. What you waiting on? You know, one thing, Mr. Swole, I've been hearing the African, go back to Africa. You know, I've been doing this a long time. So, you're going to irritate me with the Africa stuff. Because I've been doing the Pan-African stuff probably before you was born. And guess where it went? And guess how many people told me they was going to Africa and ain't went yet? So y'all don't listen to him with the back to Africa stuff. Because I've been with the back to Africa stuff before he was born. And you ain't got no land. Your wife ain't got nothing if she ain't got no gun. You ain't got no land if you ain't got no weapons to defend it. But whatever. You kind of trolling. Let me have my conversation. Stop selling these people fake hope. Okay? Let me. I think he's bad. Let me come back in 30 minutes. Because you're starting to irritate me with the fake. You ain't going to do nothing. You're going to be right where you at. Let me delete all this nonsense. I don't be wanting to hear that stuff, man. That's all hype. Africa ain't the answer. Moving to Africa is moving right in the middle of the Armageddon. I don't know where he think Armageddon gonna happen at. Africa is the number one war zone. When you get to the point where they need more natural resources to build a Babylon, and Africa trying to be independent, they're going to invade that bad boy because they need that uranium and they need that gold and they need that stuff to the death. So Africa is a war zone in the future. Everybody that reading on Armageddon happens in Northeast Africa where the three rivers meet, where the Chinese gonna march and follow the Euphrates into Africa and go to war. Like y'all study. Africa is the headquarters for Armageddon. Where you think Armageddon gonna happen at? And why you think it's gonna happen? Because of the battle for natural resources to keep Babylon running, because Babylon can't run without these precious metals. And all those precious metals is in Africa. So running is just going out of the frying pan into the fire. Basically, Africa, all right. So you telling me they taking all that iron ore from Africa and they gonna need more iron ore and stuff for war, and you tell me Africa gonna be the safe place to go when that's where they gonna need everything to build their demonic system? I guess. Those are people that don't study like that and they just live off emotions. They see a couple of revolutionary things. That's why I never mixed in with the revolutionaries because they never was really that intelligent. You know, they would just be talking, I'll go back to Africa, you know. They don't do no research. They don't really know much like that. They ain't got no military mind state. They don't never talk about weapons. They don't never talk about self-defense. Nothing. They just be talking going back to Africa butt naked with no self-defense. You know what I'm saying? When these people already got drones, why you think Russia's not easily wiping out the Ukraine? Because of drones. They use the technology now to fight their wars. And all of that is based off of natural resources. When the natural resources is what run Luciferian world society. It's all ran off of natural resources. So you can't, all them drones and all that stuff work from special metals. It's a whole nother level. There's precious metals you need to do all of this. Without precious metals, you can't even do digital currency. Look on your debit card, you're going to see that little piece of metal. And that's what, when you stick your card, the reason it works. That little piece of metal. Well, where they get that metal from? How they going to go digital without robbing Africa? So now if you want to go and really fight, I salute you if you want to go to Africa and fight. But don't tell me you're going to Africa to get away. You're going in the war zone. Basically, that's been the war zone. They just didn't tell you. Africa's been the war zone. They've been wiping them out in Northeast Africa and Central Africa, in the Congo. And Man, you know how they doing Africans over there that you don't see on the media? Do you know how many different types of currency they got and how they got them where they can't hardly fly from country to country? They got them messed up over there because they up under the system. If you go to Africa and you go to a building and you're going to do something and a European go in there, watch and see who get treated the best. I bet it won't be you. I bet it won't be you. Yeah, you need a visa to go to each country. And when you go, because I got lots of friends that go, you ain't going to get treated as good as them Europeans. Them Africans ain't even going to treat them better than you. That's a fact. Them Africans going to treat them Europeans better than you. And them Indians and them Asians run everything. When you go over there, you want to get a generator, you got to buy it from the Asians or the Indians. Anything you want to buy to survive, you're going to have to buy it from, you ain't going to be able to buy it from Africans. When you see them Africans on them motorcycles, where them motorcycles from? They ain't from Africa. They from Asia. Who them Africans buying them motorcycles from? They totally dominate them over there. I got a friend keep trying to get me to go to Ghana, but stay over here. And I'm like, I'm just tripping on her. She keep trying to make me think Africa great, but she constantly coming back over here to make some money. And I'm like, well, every time I look up, you back over here. You know what I'm saying? And you invite me to go over there somewhere you can't stay. I'm in Chicago. I stay. I've been here. You in Africa. You back over here. You always in Chicago. You always at another. You always over here. Why do I want to move somewhere where I got to go back and forth? I got to come over here to make money to go back over there? It's a she. It's a she. And she keep coming back because she can't make no money over there. She had to come over here to make money. So they go over there. A lot of times they'll go over there. They'll sign up for YouTube. You go see all them Africans on YouTube making American money so they can survive over there. They on YouTube getting money from Google to survive. Because there ain't no money in Africa. If it's money in Africa, why is you on Google? Ain't no money over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going over there. And they ain't got no weapons or nothing. Whatever. I don't be liking when brothers be coming over here saying make-believe stuff, It ain't that I don't mind people saying what they want to say. I don't like nobody misleading my audience. So in case you say, well, dang, Pharaoh, why you don't let nobody say what they need to say? Because you saying it in front of other people, and I'm responsible for people over here. And my responsibility, I have to protect my audience. I'm not the type of person to let somebody feed my audience nonsense. I am not getting people to come over here to listen to your nonsense. Now, if you want to push your nonsense, go on your account, get people to come over there and push your nonsense to your audience. But it's irresponsible for me to have people come over here and learn something that is false and foul. And then they leave with this misinformation under my watch. And I need a lot of brothers to understand, you cannot come over here on my watch pushing nonsense on my watch. You got to push that on your own page. You ain't going to see me come over there and stop you. But do not come over here pushing nonsense. Anything that I deem nonsense and I deem unfit for my audience, I'm a deal with it. I disagree. I don't want my audience to believe what you're saying. You don't know what you're talking about, and you got to go. And you don't know what you're talking about. It's not like you kind of don't know. Maybe when I was 20, you might have kind of. 30, I am 67 going on 70. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been doing this. I'm not no baby in this. I've seen Dr. Ben live. I've seen, I've been in the game. I've been looking at the knowledge. But the reason a lot of people don't like me, I upgraded my knowledge. I'm not one of these people that learned knowledge when I was 30 and just kept that same knowledge and didn't look at modern times and look at modern technology and upgrade my knowledge and still teaching Marcus Garvey. I'm not teaching no Marcus Garvey. Is old, okay? With all due respect, I'm teaching 2025, 2026 knowledge over here. I'm not teaching on 1980. I'm not teaching the same thing I would have taught. That's a fact. I'm not even teaching what I would have taught 20 years ago. I'm not teaching that. I'm upgrade. And I'm telling y'all right now, it's going down. It's almost wartime. Because I'm not taking no microchip and they're going to try to starve me out. So what I'm going to have to do? When the line's in the sand and they say you got to take the microchip on your hand or your forehead, that's going to divide the soldiers from the sheep. So all that soldier talk, we're going to see. Just give it a little time. We're going to see. And then that gets into some more conversation, because if you eating pork and eating a lot of animals and eating a lot of artificial colors, artificial flavors, you ain't going to even be here for the war. You're going to have cancer. You're going to have diabetes. You are not going to be physically fit for Armageddon. That's a follow vegan intel for that information. Some of these brothers talking rah-rah and will be in the hospital. They liver gone, they kidney almost gone, they heart in bad shape, they lungs in bad shape, and their bloodstream is full of artificial flavors, artificial coloring, preservative. Their colon is shot. They done stuffed so much beef and pork in their colon that their colon finna shut down. Talking revolutionary. And ain't even, and still eating like a slave. How you a revolutionary chitlin eating slave? Boy, you better go eat some hog balls and pick some cotton. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no revolutionary unless you got a revolutionary way you eat, a revolutionary way you think, a revolutionary way you live. Revolution means change. So you have to change your concept. You have to change how you eat. You have to change how you deal with family. You have to change how you're going to survive as a group of people. And Black people we haven't built no kind of self-sufficient economy. We're up under a world economy. And to have total control, they're going to go cashless, because they want to see everything I buy. They want to know everywhere I go. They want to be able to dock me. They want to be able to punish me digitally. I give you an example. Like they trying to punish me now, right? So they'll give me a traffic ticket, but then I don't got to pay it. And then they'll be like, your traffic ticket was $75. You didn't pay it so long. Now it's $150. And I still don't pay it. And then when I still don't pay it, what they do? They drive up and down the street looking for your car, don't they? And when your car registers on the thing, what they do? They put a boot on your car. Then when they put a boot on your car, you got so long to pay to get the boot off, or they tow it. Now when they tow it, you got to pay the boot fee, you got to pay the towing, and you got to pay the storage every day they got it. So a simple $150 fine, now you owe them $500, $800, And after so long, they keep your car and they sell your car for a few $1,000s and make money. With a digital thing, you driving right, boom, the light turning, you go through it, it go tick-up, right? $50 ticket. Soon as you drive through the light and it go tick-up, your phone gonna go $50 out your account. Y'all ain't listening. As soon as you run a light or go through a school zone, whatever the fine is, your phone gonna go. They're gonna take it right then. They're gonna take it right then. No more Pharaoh payers. When they go into this digital system, as soon as you turn on as soon as you go through a red light camera or something, your phone gonna go $50 out your account. Let's say you got $30 in your account. Let's say you got $40 in your account. It's gonna be $50 out your account and an overdraft fee. Remember, I said it first. The banks are gonna when they go more digital, the banks are gonna go up on overdraft fees. Why? Because everybody gonna be getting overdraft fees because they ain't gotta ask you for your money no more. They're not gonna ask you to pay your phone bill. They're gonna take it. They're not gonna ask you to pay your rent or your mortgage. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it. Child support, they're gonna take it. They're going to take your child support, and if you can't pay, they're going to turn all your stuff off. They're going to turn all your stuff off. They're going to turn your rent off and everything, and they're going to come evict you. Not only they're going to come evict you, they're going to confiscate all your stuff and sell it and then send you a bill the balance. You don't pay your child support, you're going to jail. Right then. And they confiscating everything you own. You're going to jail. You going to jail, and when you get to jail, you're going to be working for some company to pay off your debt. You're going to be in jail working. Yeah. It ain't going to just be the prisoners working. They're going to have the jails work. You're going to go to jail and you're going to work to pay off. Yeah, you're going to work. They're not going to be playing with us, y'all. They're not playing. When you see them say in England that they going digital, they're not playing, okay? That's what that means. They're not playing anymore. Everybody got to log in. We haven't been logged in, right? We've been individual citizens, right? Everybody will have to log in. Just let that sink in. How you going to get your digital pay? You're going to have to, everybody going to be logged in. The whole world will be logged in. No more independent, nothing. No more secret, nothing. No more, you can't buy no perks. You can't buy no Zans. You're gonna have to go to the pharmacy and get them legally. You're gonna have to go to the dispensary. Why you think they legalize herb? Because you're gonna have to go buy your herb digital. Ain't gonna be no more street hustle. The streets is gonna be dead. It's gonna be no more street exchange. I don't think a lot of people understand what I'm trying to tell y'all. There's going to be no more transactions without Big Brother knowing what you did. Big brother gonna know what you're doing. People don't really understand that. This is why you got brothers want to argue me. They don't want to face what I'm telling them. It's too much for them to comprehend. Big brother finna know everything. You will have no privacy, none, nowhere. A total invasion of your privacy. Why you think they pushing crypto? Crypto is the devil. What's a crypt? A crypt is where you dead people is at. So what is crypto? It's dead money. How is crypto going to save you? You can't access crypto unless you pay your phone bill, unless you plugged into the system. How is crypto going to save you when you got to be in the system, when it's digital and Lucifer controlled digital currency? They got these brothers out here telling you crypto. Crypto was nothing but a trick to get so-called conscious dudes to take the mark of the beast. Crypto ain't nothing but the mark of the beast. It's headed in the same direction, a cashless society. How is crypto the answer when you can't access your crypto unless you got an electronic device and Babylon controls all the electronic devices and the satellites that control the electronic devices? If they turn off their satellite, can you get your crypto? If they put your IP address, they put your address in there and cut you off from the satellite, can you access anything? Because everybody got a digital address. There's a digital address to this. There's a digital address to this computer. There is a digital address to this laptop through Comcast. They can turn me off. They can turn this off, and they can scan where I live at and make sure that there's no signals coming anywhere I live. How can I get my crypto if they turn off all signals that come to me? Tell me that. Crypto dudes is lames. Them dudes ain't really got no knowledge. That's fake consciousness. It's not real. That's not real consciousness. That's bootleg content. They slow. How is crypto so good when the man controls all the electronics? And crypto is electronic currency. Crypto is not an independent currency. Listen to Big Pharaoh. Don't listen to these new lames. Let me tell you what they're going to tell you, some young people. He old. Crypto is a new thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. Crypto is old. Old. Crypto was used for crimes. When I was in Hawaii, crypto was used to buy fertilizer and bags and stuff to grow your herb without the government knowing. You didn't want to go in a store and buy 10,000 bags so they know you're growing 10,000 plants. So you use crypto was always for crime. Crypto was criminal, underground, digital stuff. So they won't know who's buying child pornography, stuff to grow, stuff like that. Crypto is not new. So if you're a baby out here, don't be talking about something new when you wasn't even here to know if it's new or not. Okay? Crypto is old as dirt. Crypto is old. Crypto was always used for crime, prostitution and stuff like that, smuggling people and stuff like that. Illegal substances smuggling. They didn't call it crypto, they called it the dark web. It was called the dark web. It's not new. It's not new. All them lames trying to act like crypto new, they babies. They need to stay in the baby place. That's why nobody put up the 10 racks to debate me. I'll make a crypto dude cry. Because no electricity, no crypto. You got to have electricity. Who controlled the electric grid? The Babylon system. So how is crypto anti-Babylon when you need electricity? No electricity, no crypto. No Babylon, no electricity. Make it make some sense. And who believe that they're going to let you use their electric grid for something and they don't know what you're doing? Like, who believe that? Y'all believe that? Crypto was something that banks in Miami had doing the cocaine sales, and they would have the big room with all their computers. Then they had another room with computers where they processed the illegal drug money, and that was crypto. You know how, like, you go to these banks, they got these big rooms with all of these computers, big old tall computers. Then they would have a secret room where the feds don't know, and those computers would be running the drug sales from South America, from Colombia. That was crypto. Servers, you know, back in Miami, like Miami Vice days, back then. So the banks, you know, whole Miami was built on cocaine. So the banks was in the cocaine business and they had to figure out how to split that money from the other money. So they'll have one room with a whole bunch of servers that would process the legal money. Then they had a hidden room with servers that's off grid that process the money and send it to islands or Switzerland. Okay? You understand? That was crypto. Servers hid in banks that processed illegal money off the other grid, connected to criminal grids to offshore banking. Y'all heard where they hide their money offshore? All right, then that's crypto. Yeah, that's crypto. Then dudes learn how to make smaller servers. That's all that is. That's all that is when they talk about they got the little crypto thing and that ain't nothing but illegal servers. Like, come on. That got big in Miami when they had to hide all that cocaine money. That was crypto. 2 rooms of servers. One room with these servers, and then there'll be like a server sent to offshore accounts. Yep. And there'll be like a bunch of servers, but if you push a button, this server will move and there's a door behind it. Then you go in another room full of servers. But those servers ain't online with these servers. Those servers is online offshore. And that's the cocaine money. That's crypto. We bought crypto stuff back in the mountains. Well, in Hawaii, we was doing crypto. We couldn't go to town. I couldn't go to town and buy, you know, 10,000 bags to grow. So we had to find a way we could buy fertilizer and bags and stuff without the Hawaii police knowing and the DEA knowing. So you got to find a way to buy your growing supplies without nobody knowing. And that was the dark web crypto, basically. And there was a white dude that had the connection, and he could get you 10,000 bags or 50,000 bags without nobody knowing it, because he was plugged into the dark web. Because you just can't go to town and buy no bunch of fertilizer. DEA going to kick your dough in, because the DEA going to get somebody to work at the garden supply spot. You understand? You gotta understand, Big Pharaoh been a criminal, you know, on the highest level. But we won't get into all of that. We can get the book come out. You know what I'm saying? I've really been outside. Like, who y'all think was on the Big Island? Like, let me ask you something. When I left LA and went to the Big Island of Hawaii in the early 80s, up in them mountains, who you think I was around and taught me the game? And what type of environment you thought I was in? Like, seriously. I was highly loved because I was like a baby doing something I wasn't supposed to do. So they was looking at me like, dang, you like a baby, and you from Chicago, you just a regular N-word, and you doing this? Wow, that's impressive. Because I was a regular N-word from the hood. But I was doing stuff with big, you know what I'm saying? You see the pictures. I'm not showing you all the pictures. You see me and my boy. You see what's over our shoulder. We in the jungle. You see I got camouflage on. You see all that herb over my shoulder. You see my boy in front. You see them plants. I was a baby. I was what? 20-something. Like 24, 25. I'm up there with Vietnam veterans and Polynesian gangsters and, you know, Japanese Yakuza, you know. I'm up there with people growing 40,000 plants here, 50 over there, 100 over there. Listen, they had dudes that would take helicopters and find a spot in the middle of nowhere and lower refrigerators and lower electronic fences and put up electronic fences and put 100,000 plants and then drop men off with all the supplies that live there and would fly and get them supplies. That way there's no footprint out or in. They're in the middle of the jungle with 100,000 plants. Facts. Dropped by helicopter. They got couches, generators, TV, everything. But the key to growing without getting caught is no trails. So that's why they would use a helicopter, so there's no trails in and out. Because the only way they can find you is if they see trails. So if they don't see no trails, that means nobody going in and out. So they would fly and drop it in the middle of nowhere. Got 100,000 plants, 200,000 over there, like that, like real big stuff. So people like us, I got 5,000 plants. I got, 3,000 plants, 5,000 plants. They was like, that's cute. Go ahead, do your thing, little boy. They was like, okay, little. I was like, they like, okay, that's cute. And give me a little advice. They was like, that's cute. Yeah. The helicopters would just fly over me. They would see my stuff and keep flying. Like, oh, that's cute. They ain't looking for me. I swear to God. They look at your little patch and be like, oh, that's cute. Now they looking for the big ones. They fly over my little herb like, oh, okay, that's cute. You ain't got enough to pay for this helicopter fuel and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Green Harvest would come and they would come down on ropes because there's booby traps. Some of these dudes is Vietnam vets and stuff. So they would come down on the rope and be like this close to the ground. And then they would cut the herb. Then they would wrap it up and they would do that and they would pull up the bushels. But they never step on the ground because it's very dangerous to step on the ground. You get your face blowed off. It's booby traps, electric fences, all that. Like holes with spikes in the ground that's covered. So when you fall in there, you fall down on the spikes, go through you, they find you, dig a hole, put you in the hole, cover you a 50-pound bag of lime, you gone. If they put you in the hole and put a 50-pound bag of lime or 100 pounds of lime on you, you just gone. Ain't no dog gonna smell it, ain't nothing. You just gone. You just gone. Nobody gonna find you. I probably shouldn't be telling y'all that, but I'm not trying to encourage crime. I'm just telling you how the crimes used to go. A 50-pound bag of lime. Go to Hawaii and say a 50-pound bag of lime. They know what you're saying. 50-pound bag of lime and you gone. In some cases, they feed you to the hogs that will eat everything. In some cases, they throw you in the hogs. They throw you in with 100, 200 hogs. You don't exist no more. For real, hogs can crush bone and that. For real. Hogs is horrible, but hogs is horrible. That's what they do over in Europe. They throw you in the hog pens. That's what the gangsters in Europe do with the bodies. They throw them in the hog pens. You gone. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? They getting rid of all of that. The Cashless society are getting rid of all forms of crime. There will be no crimes because they're not just cutting the way, they're cutting the way you buy. You won't be able to buy nothing, but you also won't be able to sell nothing. So once they cripple you where you can't buy none unless it's digital and you can't sell none unless it's digital, now the government controls everything. That's why they go in cashless society. They want total control. It's not a joke, y'all. I would advise you, if you ain't doing nothing and you chilling one night, I would definitely advise you to get a book and read. You know what I'm saying? And I would advise you to get this book and read this book right here. I think this book will help prepare you for the future. You should read this. You should read this book. I would tell everybody, you need to read this. You need to get George Orwell 1984 and read it. If you read 1984, it'll help you. Because these Luciferians, they not playing. They want total control of the people on this planet. They don't want you to have, they want to be in your, they don't want you to be able to do nothing without their consent. That's a fact. You won't be able to buy nor sell without the mark of the beast. And they really own that. And John seen that. You got to understand, see, John, when they unalived all the other disciples, John was the last one alive. And John was Christ's favorite. And John got away because he went out on the island of Patmos where the Romans and everybody couldn't find him. That's the only reason they didn't get John. And John had a vision. So like these men used to have visions, but these visions would be like 1,000 years from when they seen it. So when they would have these visions, they didn't know what they were seeing. Right? So imagine you back in ancient time, you have a vision and you see an airplane. You don't know what that is. So they'll be like, I seen a monster, or I seen a beast. Because the airplane might be flying going, and they seen it, but they don't got airplanes. So they would see the future. And these men would write that down. And John seen all of this. John was deep. John seen all of this. John seen all of this. And everything he said is right down to the letter, too. So you just don't read these revelations and believe them. You read these revelations and remember them, and then you look to see if they true. And when you look, you're going to say, wow. Because everything in there is happening right now in you all's lifetime. You all are living in the days of the mark of the beast. This is 100% for sure. Because I've been knowing it since the 80s. But I eventually got to the point where I realized it wasn't ready, right? So I knew this back in 82. And I was all hyped up like, oh, the mark of the beast is coming. But then when I looked, I realized what? They did not have what? The technology to do it. So I calmed down. Right? I'm in my 20s, right? I calmed down. Say, they ain't got the technology. Was I hyped up in my 30s? No. Was I saying any of this in my 40s? No. Was I saying any of this in my 50s? No. It wasn't until I got in my 60s where the Babylon system finally had the technology to do what I seen when I was 20. So that's why I'm telling y'all that now. I never told them, I never pushed this when I was 30. I didn't push this when I was 40 or 50. Because I realized they had to have a certain amount of technology to do it. But now, man, listen. Man, listen. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Check this out. Check this out. No, not John the Baptist. They had already unalived John the Baptist. They unalive. I ain't talking about John the Baptist. I'm talking about the disciple. They had already beheaded John the Baptist. I'm talking about the John that went with Christ to see the transfiguration when he went and met with Moses and I think Elijah. Because you know Moses and Elijah showed up. That John, Christ's favorite. John the beloved. Exactly. That John. That was Christ's favorite. The other John the Baptist, him and Christ was relatives because Christ's mama and John the Baptist mama was relatives. Now you good? That was a good question because other people might want to know too. The other John the Baptist, him and Christ were relatives because Mary and John's mother was relatives. And you know, Mary healed more people than Christ. Let me see, Pharaoh. So let's say if the people collective say no and boycott these new mark of the beast implementation, then they'll be unalived. They'll be unalived. You go against the grain, then you'll be unalived. You will starve. Because when you say if the people, but the people ain't going to do it. The people not going to do that. It's nothing about these people that show that the majority of people are going to rebel. If you look at the world today, the people are going to go along with whatever they say. The people are going to do what they tell them. It's only going to be a certain ones that's not. There's going to be people that's not going to do it, but it's going to be enough people to do it to implement it. These people is not going to go against nothing. And those of us we know because we come up right after the Black Panthers, look at the Black Panthers, we'll have everybody bow down. Look at all the little revolutionary movements. What happened? Everybody bow down. Dudes, when they cut their dreadlocks and conform. You can't show me nowhere where people didn't conform. Yeah, they're going to take it. Yeah, they're going to take it. The reason they're going to take it is because they don't know they taking nothing. You understand? Listen, y'all. They don't know they taking nothing. So when I went to the 50 Cent concert and everybody was tapping their cards, they wasn't aware what they was doing. They was born with that. So that's normal. So what the beast has done was slowly bring in his system so there would be a generation where that would be normal. They didn't change. They was born into that. So when you born into that, you're not changing. That's just the way it is. I'm older, so I wasn't born into it. Young people, 18, 19, 20, they don't know what I'm talking about. They born, that's normal. You got to understand the way they bring it in slowly. So there's a generation that's already, it's normal. Nothing has changed. What do you mean changed? I was the only one at the 50 Cent concert that was uncomfortable. Everybody else was just tapping them cards. They wasn't uncomfortable at all. They was having a ball. That's how I knew. That's what made me ask the lady, do y'all take cash? Because everybody was just tapping their cards. They was already used to it. You understand? They're already used to it. So you had all these people tapping their cards. So I'm standing in line, I'm watching everybody. See, listen, I was like a fish out of water because you got to understand the 50 Cent concert when it happened, just like a couple years after COVID. So when COVID happened, they started saying if you didn't have a shot, you couldn't go to the events, right? So you asked me, is people going to take it? All right, let's break it down. When COVID came, they said you couldn't go see the Bears, you couldn't go see the Bulls, you couldn't fly on a plane unless you took the shot, right? What did people do? They took it, didn't they? They took it, didn't they? So everybody talking about they're not going to take it. Did they not take that shot so they could go to the sports arena? Yes, they took it. They took it. Right? We're not talking about you, bro. You got to get from over here with the personal stuff. You blowing me. Like, really? Really, bro? You got to go. You got to go, bro. Come back tomorrow. Because you is ruining my conversation. Because you try to make the conversation about you, bro. Nobody, you like, bro. Yeah, you got to go. This man is on, he just jumping in my conversation. Not me, my kids, but and you lying. We don't even know you. Weird. You know what I'm saying? Want to be seen at my expense when I'm talking. Basically, he really just a hater. And what he's trying to do is distract my conversation, basically. He don't got no self-respect, no dignity. How you going to say he's not going to take it? He ain't got no dignity. He don't got no respect. He's invasive. He invade the conversation. He'll be the first one to take it. There's nothing about him that shows any kind of decency. He'll step on his brother or sister for $1. He ain't decent. Oh, he not even acting decent over here. So everybody that was at the 50 Cent show, they had already been outside since the pandemic. I hadn't. Because I wasn't going nowhere because I wasn't trying to take no vaccine. So now when I come out, I'm behind. All that was new what they was doing. So now when I was in line getting ready to buy my t-shirts, I kept seeing everybody tapping their cards. They was with it. Even when it was time to park, everybody knew. They parked, they got their cards out. Right? So I didn't know that because I hadn't been outside in 2 or 3 years. I had been in, I hadn't went nowhere. Because first, I didn't want to get COVID, and second, I wasn't taking no shot. But a lot of these people got the jab. So they had been going to these things. So when I'm standing in line to buy t-shirts, I'm seeing everybody just tapping their cards like they know what's going on. They ain't bring no cash with them. So that's what made me ask the lady, hey, do y'all take cash? She's like, no. Everybody else was in there drinking. Yeah. They was with it. They was with the Cashless society. They didn't even know it was a cash society. They just in there. Think everybody in there, there's no cash. So if everybody's in there having a good time, what do that mean? They thinking about no cash. It's normal. It was normal to them. No problem. Tap, tap, tap. Because they didn't even have where you stick your card in. They had the thing you tap it. I had never seen that. They got a machine where you just tap your card. I had never seen that. I always seen where you got to stick it in. No, you just tap it. I seen everybody walking up tapping this white thing. It was like I had went into the future. So I asked her, I said, excuse me, I wasn't even up in the front of the line. I said, do y'all, because nobody had no cash. I said, y'all take cash? They said, no. She didn't just say no. You know what she said? She said, Nobody takes cash in this whole building. And I was like, what? So I had to get out of line. I said, well, let me see if it's an ATM. Everybody asked, is there an ATM? No, it wasn't even no ATM. Now tell me something. If you know you got a building and you know you don't take no cash, why wouldn't you have no ATM in there? You know why? Because you're going to punish everybody that ain't with it already. In other words, no, we don't take no cash. We don't even got an ATM in here that will put your cash on your card. Listen, they didn't even have the decency enough to think about people that ain't got no money on their card. It's like you either got money on your card or you poor. It was just like that. This the United Center. No ATM machine in the whole United Center where the Bulls and the Blackhawks play. This place is huge. No ATM. In other words, the program was already there. I was just out of date. They're like, bro, where you from? It was already the Jetsons. I'm still the Flintstone. They was like, bro, this is a whole new program. Where you from? We've been changed this program. They had been changed the program 2 years before I came back outside. In a lot of ways, it's deep because they used the pandemic to change the program. Facts. They used the pandemic to bring in the mark of the beast, to bring in the cash society. It's a fact, because it wasn't like that before the pandemic. All that's suspicious. The jab, the way everything changes, suspicious. And all these people is with it. All these people is with it. I was in Whole Foods. This was about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years. So I'm buying my food. And when I get to the cash register, she say, blah, blah, blah. I pull out my money. And the white lady behind me, she say, wow, you still use cash? That's what she said. Like I was a dinosaur. She said, I haven't used cash in 2 years. Now just imagine somebody saying that to you. And when I go to Whole Foods, I be the only one pulling out cash. I swear to God. Everybody be just tapping cards and sticking their card. Nobody got no. It's a lot of people in this chat that don't use cash. Let me tell you something. 98% of the people in this chat use their cards all day. They do not use cash. Ain't no one even say, sir, I'll pay your ticket. What ticket? The ticket was already in my phone. When you go to Ticketmaster and buy a ticket, your ticket is a digital ticket. I don't know what ticket you're talking about. Like the ticket is a digital ticket. I already had my ticket. My ticket was a digital ticket in my phone. When I got to the front door, I just took my phone. So now that one for my ticket, that was about T-shirts. That was about the T-shirts, G-Rod. I was already in the concert with my digital ticket. That's why I said I paid digital to park. I had a digital ticket, and I still didn't know I was in the Babylon system until I got in line to buy souvenirs. I was already in the United Center. G-Rod. I was already in the United. I already had a digital ticket, but I hadn't caught on. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all that I was dealing with the mark of the beast and didn't even know it. No, G-Rod, I was dealing with the mark of the beast and didn't even know it. Let me go back, because other people might know either. I decided I want to take my grandson to see 50 Cent. I went to Ticketmaster. Found some good tickets. I had tickets where we was like, here's the main floor, and then it's the first mezzanine, and we was in row number 1. Now we was in row number 2, that because PJ little, so I wanted to make sure that he could see over the crowd. So I didn't want to put him on the main floor because he's gonna be about adult. So I put him where the seats going up like that, so he right here. So he could just see the whole show. He had the best seats for a little boy. So I was here at the office when I bought the tickets. I went on my phone, bought the tickets, and they gave me 2 digital tickets. That's what I'm trying to tell them, G-Rock. They gave me 2 digital tickets that you download into your phone. There's no real ticket. I get to the parking lot, I got to pay digital to park. I get to the front door, they make me open on my phone and they scan the tickets. There's no ticket. I'm in the mark of the beast. I'm in the devil's world and I don't know it, G-Right. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know that I'm in the devil's world. It don't hit me that I'm not paying to park with cash. My ticket is digital. It don't hit me until I tell PJ, my grandson, let's buy some souvenirs. And I get in line. I got $700, $750 in my pocket. And I see everybody tapping to get T-shirts. So when I see everybody tapping, as I get closer, I said, girl, do y'all take cash? She like, no. So I couldn't even buy. So I was going to buy like $300-$400 worth of stuff. I was going to buy PJ some stuff. I was going to buy something for his mom to take back home. I was going to buy the collector's items album to put with my albums and all that. I couldn't even do it. I had to call my daughter, have my daughter Zelle me a couple $100 so I could buy a couple of T-shirts. So I was pissed. Then I had to leave and go to a bank and send my daughter back her $200. Crazy, because I don't have no money in the bank. I don't be having no money in the bank. I don't keep my money digital. I don't want my money nowhere nobody can push a button and get my damn money. I do not believe in Lucifer. I do not believe in the Babylon system at all. Those of y'all believe in it, y'all going to hell in a handbasket. I do not believe in this system. I do not want my money where somebody can push a button and empty my bank account. I need cash where they going to fix me. They're going to make it where it's nowhere to spend my cash. This is how they know it's people like me. They want to shut us down. So they're going to make it cashless to shut us out. They already got a bunch of suckers in. So they're like, everybody's a sucker, Pharaoh. All we got to do is get you. These people going to go for it because they suckers. So now once they get 75% of the people to be lames and to go with the devil, then they can force the rest of us to bow down to Lucifer, because that's basically what it is. Everybody done sold their soul to Lucifer. You done sold your soul. Now they want to force me to sell my soul. They mad at all of the ones. There's a bunch of the ones like me. But they want to make all of y'all, because y'all playing G-Rock, and now they want to make y'all commit 100%. So what they going to do, G-Rock, is they're going to make everything cashless. Then they're going to make you put it on your hand. So y'all didn't understand what I'm saying, G-Rock. You're going to have to put that on your hand. Yeah. That little chip on your debit card or credit card, you're going to have to put that chip under your skin. Yeah, or on your forehead. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to fence straddle pretty soon. You're going to have to commit. See, with the card, you ain't committed yet. You ain't committed yet. They're going to make y'all bow. And they're going to make you put it on the body that God gave you. They're going to make you defile your body that you was born with your mother naturally. And they're going to make you put their chip on your body. and you will be totally owned by Lucifer. Totally. You will be then 100% sold out, your whole body and your soul. You will be owned by them. And then that's where the line be drawn in the sand. So they say, Pharaoh, I'm going to have to go cashless because there ain't going to be no cash. So they'd be like, well, are you cool going cashless? No, because you sold out when you go cashless, because once they get rid of cash, they're going to know all my business. Now, maybe y'all cool with them knowing all your business, but I do not want them to know every time I buy a piece of bubble gum. Right now, if I go to Target and I buy something, they don't know I bought it. If I go to Walgreens and buy something and they say $20, that does not trace back to me. That don't trace back to me. There's no information from me. So I'm kind of free. I can buy something and nobody knows what I'm buying. If I buy some condoms, nobody know it. If I buy some popcorn, nobody know it. If I buy some water, if I buy some plant-based food, nobody knows it. But what they're going to do soon is everything I buy, they're going to know. No freedom. All of your information is revealed. That's before they make you take it. When they get rid of cash, you will no longer be free. You will be an economical slave, and you will be given over all of your life to the system. Your whole life will be recorded. And if you go to that hotel with your girlfriend, it'll be documented and they can send it to your wife and she could divorce you. And because you're digital, they could just give her your money. No more pay alimony. No. Push the buttons, alimony paid. Automatically, money will go to your wife. You don't have to pay it. Yeah, you won't have to pay alimony. Alimony will just be taken. Oh, you won't have to pay child support? Oh, no. Child support will be taken. Why? Because your bank account is digital. So anything they want to take from you, done. They'll need your permission. So now, you got on the internet and said something we don't like? $250. Oh, you doing something we don't like? $250. Oh, if you say the wrong thing, that's going to be $100. If you do this, that's okay. Oh, it's going to get crazy. Once they get y'all digital, they're going to tax the if you ain't no good boy or no good girl, they take in money. Yeah. No more freedom, no more rights, nothing. Everything you do, Big Brother will see it. And people don't understand that. You understand when you go digital, Big Brother will be watching you. You'll have no more privacy. None. They'll know when you turned your lights on and when you turned them off in your house. They'll know when you went in which bedroom. They'll know when every gas station when you went to it. They'll know everything you bought, everything your children bought. Your children have to have it too. If your children don't have a microchip, you'll have to buy their stuff. So if you want your children to be kind of grown and go to the store, they're going to have to get the microchip. Yeah. Yeah, if your children want to buy something, your teenage children, your young children, how they going to buy it? They're going to have to get microchipped. Yeah, you're going to have to get chipped. But then when all of you all get chipped, then y'all going to hate those of us like us that don't get chipped Because you know a sellout want everybody to sell out. So y'all be like, yeah, Pharaoh don't get it, let him starve. I got it. So they'll be able to starve us out. They'll be able to treat us just like Christ. The rest of y'all will be Luciferians. This is why I say that once you take the mark of the beast, you can never be in the kingdom of the Most High. Never. You might as well don't go to the mosque no more. You don't go to the synagogue, go to church no more. That's it. You've sold your soul to Satan. You was bought and paid for by Lucifer. Ain't no heaven or nothing righteous for you. And you're going to break out with swords according to the book of Revelation. And that stuff going to break out and kill you. Because you're a fool if you believe somebody could put a microchip under your hand and it's going to work. That's all. You think, so you believe that's going to work? So you believe your skin is going to be cool with that under there? That's a whole nother story for another day. Who believe that they could put a microchip in your hand and it's going to work and your body ain't going to react to it? So your body just going to be cool with that. Something that wasn't made in your body naturally. Y'all believe the system can put some metal there and your body just going to be like, oh, it's cool. Who believe that? When you know that Lucifer want to make a fool out of you. And it's only done to embarrass you and embarrass your God. That's all it's done for, to make a fool out of you. To mock God and say, look, I made your people take my stuff to eat your food on your world that you made. I made them bow to me. Because that's basically what you're going to be doing. You're going to be letting somebody that don't own the food, don't own the wood, don't own the planet, make you get something to give you something he really don't owe because you too kitty cat to fight. Especially you men, you meow. So you're going to bow to somebody to make you take a microchip to sell you something that ain't even theirs. It's not theirs. They do not own this planet. They do not own apples, oranges, housing, none of that. How you let them own housing and make you take a microchip to live somewhere when you a human and they are human, and you let them be a bigger human than you. They the big human, you the little human. You got to do what they tell you to do. And you going to do it. When the rest of us like me, when they go that route, we going to see how big they is. But that's another story for another day, because I don't believe you nothing. So when you put my back against the wall, then we're going to make it do what it going to do. And I don't believe they going to win. They going to lose. But a lot of people going to sell their soul, and this is what's going to separate the righteous from the wicked, the lions from the sheep. We always been trying to figure out who's a kitty cat and who's strong. And pretty soon, we don't got to figure that out no more. So it is going to be a great day. So we can really find out who's the P word and who's not. So it's really a good thing, because I'm tired of people pretending you stand up and you not. So it's going to be great to see who roll over, because you're already rolling over, but they're going to make you roll all the way over, because I think you done rolled over too much to even let it go this far, to be honest with you. When somebody tell you got to go take a shot to go do whatever you got to do, and you don't even know what the hell is in the shot, I think a lot of y'all sold out right there. Just let a person tell you anything. Cut your hair so you can work and do what I tell you. Dress like how I tell you. Look like how I tell you. So you've been sold out. You've been yes, sir, yes, master. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, you've been yes, master. Yeah, master. I'm gonna do what you tell me, master. I'm gonna, you know. anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you've been sold out. You've been letting them tell you what to do. You don't got no backbone anyway. To me, I don't think people got no backbone no more. They can just tell you anything and you'll do it. And then you'll go around them and you'll persecute those of us that don't want to do it. They can tell you anything. Look at our women. All our women trying to put European hair on their head. They trying to get their skin light. People going shooting up fake butts. And just a whole bunch of sellout stuff to be the image. What they tell you, you need to look like this, and you go do it. You're too dark. You go lighten your skin. Real talk, it'd be crazy. I've been going through it. You need to get a haircut. You need to cut your hair so then you can work for us. If you go look like a slave and you go to the barber shop, then you come and we'll hire you. That's how my life been. They're like, cut your, bow down. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to see brothers start growing their dreadlocks and be postmen and be bus drivers. But the slaves been complaining about it. You can see videos now, like a brother cut his dreads. They're like, yeah, finally cut them dreads. The slaves be happy. Yeah. You need to be a slave like me. Finally cut that stuff. Cotton pickers. Yeah, you need to be like me. You need to, finally cut that stuff. But you believe in God, but hair is ugly and God made the hair. God made hair. You love God, but you hate natural hair. But you love God. But you hate natural hair to grow the dreads because you don't want to admit that God made it like that. But God ain't made no damn haircut. God ain't made no razors and no. God didn't make that. Now God made this, but God didn't make the barbershop. But you love God, but everything you're doing ain't got nothing to do with God. Because God is natural and you unnatural. So you like got an unnatural God, or something weird. Because even Jesus, your pictures of Jesus, he got his hair combed. Because I don't know how he kept his hair like that. Because that stuff would have twisted up. So even Jesus, and as hot as it was, I don't know how he stayed that color, but I guess so. Jesus is tripped out too. Jesus, how'd you stay like that? You must not never went outside in the sun. Jesus stayed under the shade. He didn't have no sunburn or nothing. All my white friends be having sunburn. If they was outside in that area, they would have had to have sunburn stuff. But I guess, I don't know. So, to sum it up, you got to commit. You've been fake, and that's not enough for Lucifer or the Most High. You got to commit. No more of this fake, half fake. We getting to the point where the line finna draw in the sand. You're going to go over here or you're going to go over there. How should we go about finding means to eat once the chips become mandatory? I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I can tell you this, that when you come home, there won't be any food in your house. I can tell you that when robbers come, they're not going to be able to rob you for your money. And so robbers will come and take your clothes, take your baby's clothes, take your food. Robbery will become for things. So it'll be more dangerous than it's ever been in the history of man. Because now people got to rob you for food. People got to break in your house and clean out your pantries and your refrigerator and your clothes. People will run up on you and leave you naked because they can't buy clothes. So people will run up on you, take off the shirt, take all that off, take everything off. There won't be no cash, right? So if there's no cash, then people got to rob you for what? For the things what? That cash buy. So now the value would be for the things that you buy with cash. So they'll run up on you. They'll leave you and your wife and your children butt naked. Underwear and everything. They'll go wash them. You go on vacation, they break your house, they're taking your washing, they're taking everything. Washing the powder, soap, all the clothes, everything that money could buy will be the most valuable stuff because there's no money. So there's no money. Now I got to get the stuff that money buy. I don't have no money to buy washing powder. So I got to take that. I don't have money to buy clothes. So the value of clothes, washing powder, all that, umbrellas, all that, diapers. Yeah, you'll be getting robbed for your stuff from the people that don't take it. Basically, including your house. They'll come in your house and tie you up and live in your house, and you'll be tied up. And they'll live in your house. They don't got no money to pay no rent. They don't got no money to pay no mortgage. So they're going to come in your house and live in your house and tie you up and have you in the basement tied up and be in your house cooking and eating and living. Because you'll be then drew a line of carelessness. You'll be then showed the world you don't care about nobody else. So once you take the microchip, you're saying to hell with everybody else. Get the chip or die. That's what you'll be saying. You will be promoting selfishness. And so everybody be like, okay, if that's the way we planned it, then let's play it like that. So they're going to wish the same thing on you. Think about how ruthless I got to be to take the microchip and think, well, if you don't get it, I don't care what happened to you. That would have to be my concept, right? My concept would have to be, I'm going to take it. If you don't take it, you don't need to eat. Is that a righteous concept? Is that righteous? For me to say, I'm going to take it. And if you don't want to do this, then you don't need. Is that righteous? Ain't that kind of ruthless? For me to be like, well, I could live. I got my house. I got my car. Ain't that ruthless, though? That's ruthless. That's going to be selfishness at the highest level. That's why it's already homeless people and everywhere now, because you already like that. You already like that. You already like that. That's just going to really show it. You already think you something with your car and your home and your jobs. You really think you be something. So you already got that attitude. That's just going to highlight it. You've already got that real messed up attitude that you better than somebody because you rolling over and you go fetch when they tell you to go fetch. So whoever go fetch the ball the most, think they better than everybody else. That's why I never really fit into the system, because when I'm doing well, I never liked being around the other people that was doing well. I was never comfortable around them because I just was doing what I'm doing, but they thought they was better than everybody, and I never wanted to be better than everybody. So that's why when I was growing up, even though I was real smart in school, even though my daddy had Cadillacs, I didn't hang around. I hung with anybody. I didn't hang around with you because you had to be smart or because you had to have fancy clothes or anything. I hung around you just because you was a person. So I never really fit in because I never wanted to be with the crowd. And I came up where I was supposed to be with these dudes. See what I'm saying? And I was like, I never could buy into that. I never could buy into being the elite. I just never, you know what I'm saying? That's why I stopped wearing all them fancy clothes and grew dreadlocks, just put on military clothes because I've been not like the direction y'all going in. I never liked it. I had the opportunity to be Mr. Fancy Schmancy and stuff. I just didn't like it. I always thought it was trash. I always thought it was wicked. I always thought that you all were cruel. And I was never comfortable being with the in crowd. I was never comfortable looking down on my other friends like I'm better than them. I just didn't like it. And it was like I would have better stuff than some of the people that do that. So imagine having better clothes than these other dudes that got nice clothes and they looking down on people got worse stuff. And they ain't even got what I got. And I'm not looking down on them. And I'm doing better than you. I'm not looking down on you, but you're doing better than him and you looking down on him. So I really didn't like that. I just didn't like it. So that's why I dropped out the system. I've been dropped out. At this time when I was like this, I could have been wearing $500 suits, the best shoes, the best cars, all of that. But I didn't like that crowd. I didn't like those people. Those people were always negative to me. They were always very negative people to me. That they were the only reason they acted like they was doing so good because they want to make other people look like they ain't doing good. Because there's no reason to act like you're doing good unless you want to prove somebody else doing bad. So there's no reason to brag about your car unless you're trying to say anybody don't got that car ain't doing well. So I never liked them type of people. I still don't. I don't like those type of people. When you brag about your car and all that, I don't like you. You can't never trust nobody that worship material things. Can't trust them. These are the kind of men when you get a fine woman, they want her. They want your woman. They don't want their own woman. To the point where you could brag if you sleep with somebody else's woman. You know how sick a society got to be? That you bragging because you slept behind somebody? It's a society we in. That's why our young men got a bigger chain and a bigger chain. And they all trying to see who got the biggest chain and who got the best car. That's their whole life. And then they make a record and then they want to sell the CD to people that ain't got nothing. Because if they wanted to sell their CD only to people with big chains, they wouldn't sell no CDs. Now you want to go platinum, but you can't go platinum with people dressed like you. So now you're going platinum with the people you look down on. So that's all I got to talk about that because the UK is pushing the line. And here we go. So strap your boots and get ready, y'all, because we are headed into a cashless society. Here it comes. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame, but that's where we headed. So get ready. Those of you all that are rebels that are going to be against it, get ready. Get ready because it's going down. Check it out.
because a digital currency, and this is all accepted. This is all accepted. This is not theory. Is programmable. They can program a digital currency to mean you can only spend it on certain things and you can't spend it on others not designated by the government. And it's programmable so it can only be spent in a certain area. So if you go outside of your zone, your money won't work. And not only that, it means that when you go past one of these number plate cameras when you, quote, shouldn't, you won't be able to challenge the fine because the fine will be taken out of your digital account the moment you transgress. This is what's happening. Now, these digital currencies are called central bank digital currencies, CBDCs.
Y'all hear that? They can make it where you can't spend no money if you out your zone. They can find you immediately, so they could be like, listen, if you black, you got to spend your money over here. They ain't got to say you black, but they can program it based on your race. And if you go out of your zone, you can't spend no money in their neighborhood. You have to stay where they tell you to stay. Then all your transgressions, you could be fined. Just imagine where they could say, okay, like the truckers in Canada. Y'all remember the truckers in Canada was boycotting? I remember Canada closed all their bank accounts for protesting. So now let's say you go to protest. They can scan everybody. They could close all your accounts. I don't think people understand how dangerous and how much control this is going to be. You won't have any rights. They'll be able to stop feeding you if you don't do what they tell you to do. I don't think people understand that. Protesting, over with. You protest, they shut your money down. That's it. You can't eat. They don't like something, they can say you can't buy no chocolate. You can't buy no liquor. Okay, you can't buy no gas. We don't want you moving around. You can't buy no gas. Go sit down. You can't buy no gas. Then they can make one group of people be able to live great and another group of people, they can close them down. So they can make it where one race could just be outside living great and the other race turn all your cards off. If you don't take their vaccine, they could turn your money off. If you do take their vaccine, you could pass away. So they could basically eliminate people like Hitler. They can force you to do whatever they want you to do or starve you out. And what they've done is they've upgraded the system where you won't be able to steal. So you won't be able to steal because they have upgraded the system to where everything is unbreakable. So they got this thick glass that you can't break and you can't open unless you scan it. And you can't break it with a sledgehammer or nothing. And you can't even see if anything is in there. So you could spend 20 or 30 minutes trying to break it open. And when you open it, there's nothing there because there's just pictures of what's supposed to be there. But you have no idea if anything is really there. Have you been in a new Walgreens? And the glass is like bulletproof. Y'all ain't seen these new coolers in Walgreens? And they got a little digital thing there where them doors could be locked. And you're going to have to scan that door to open it. And then you don't know if there's anything in there. They put these up after the George Floyd, where people went in them stores and tore everything up. Oh, you ain't going to be able to do that no more. Because these things is like bulletproof glass. And then they don't have to hire you because they can have a robot go and refill these shelves. And they can make it where you can't even go in the store. So they can make it where you can't even go in the store. Okay? Because they got the whole cashless store, like the cashless Aldi's they got over in the UK already. Where it's cashless. If you ain't got you don't need no money. You don't need no money. Yeah, you don't need no money. They got everything already cashless. Where you don't need no money. They've already slowly bought us into the system. Slowly. They slowly made little changes that nobody paid attention to. You know, they took their time and did it. They got stores where you just go grab your stuff and it'll just automatically take it, right? So you could just go grab your stuff and the store will automatically take it out your account. If you go to walk in the store, it's going to scan you and it's going to say, sir, you don't have enough money to shop in here. Right? And they slowly did it right in front of our face, nice and slow. This little piece, then that little piece, so you wouldn't really see what they were doing. They took the jobs away from the police and they slowly made it. They're making you ring up your own stuff. There's no tellers, right? Cashless society. Pretty soon those things won't take cash, right? And they've slowly gotten rid of the police, slowly. So they don't need any police. So they're automatically fining you. You know, they don't need police traffic stops. They got computers to send you tickets automatically, right? And they basically got you where everything is automated. Everything. To the point where, you know, even the police are going to be automated and heartless and not human. Because they're going to have these things standing in charging stations everywhere. And when you do any type of violation, whatever, they just gonna come out the charger station and say freeze. They're gonna have these robot police everywhere. They're gonna just be standing, and while they standing on the streets, they're gonna be in charger stations. They're gonna be standing in the store, but where they standing at is charging them up. But they are awake, they working. So they never go, the battery not gonna go dead. And these robocops will be everywhere. They will be everywhere, and everything will be automated. Even when you go shopping, your shopping cart will just add up everything automatically and take it. As soon as you put it in the cart, it'll take it out your account. And then only the elite will be able to function, and everybody poor will probably be rounded up and sent to camps because they'll probably be able to deem that by our records you don't have enough to survive in society. So it'll probably be a situation where they'll be able to say, you know, you're unfit for society, you're not earning enough wages, and we suspect that you will have to turn to crime. So we'll have to send you to this camp. You will have to go live over here because you don't have enough money to live anywhere. Basically, they'll be like, you don't have enough money to live in society. Basically, that's where we're headed. Where everybody think this is cute. This is not cute. This is total control. Okay? Ain't no more. You want to drive truck? Man, listen, ain't no jobs for you. We don't need no truck drivers. Okay? That's why the dock workers went on strike. And we don't need you to drive truck. Okay? We don't need you. The trucks drive by themselves. We don't need you to drive trucks. We don't need you to drive cars. We don't need you. The rich get their money through the system, and the poor cab driver, what you gonna do? No more Uber, no more Lyft, no more cab drivers. I seen the video where it was three crack cab drivers at a hotel, and everybody was getting in these Uber cars, and they wasn't a Waymo, it was the other little one. And the cab drivers was just sitting there. They wasn't making nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. These automatic cars is taking over everything. And they're slowly taking your jobs right in front of your face. And they're making you obsolete to the point where, shoo, you won't even be able to work at McDonald's. For what? They ain't gonna need you at McDonald's. What they need you at McDonald's for? Ain't no McDonald's job. That's over with. That's over with. Ain't no job. Your job gone. What y'all think about that? So look, wake up, y'all. It's going down, all right? Victory.